Hello, fellow journalism class and group. I'm the second post, technically, to give a video on our Redmond Reporter recap. The reason we're doing these kind of videos is basically to give a quick and informal talk on what happened and our impressions of it in basic English form rather than our dry essays. So, I thought I'd just bring up 3 questions I had over at the Redmond Reporter newspaper. The first question I had, first really good question I had, was if they look at other newspaper publishers, if they model any of their formats or techniques after them. And I was surprised they said they do. In fact, they look at all the big name newspaper publishers, but that not really to copy them per se, more like just to see what their style is, what works for them, what doesn't work, and then incorporate that into the way they present news. And they also mentioned, if anything, they have newspapers that actually take ideas off of them, so it's more of the other way around, other newspapers taking stuff from their website and their news stories. My other question was whether they ever go out of their bounds and report on things that are not local. They maintained that they were a heavy local newspaper, strictly Redmond Report. But my question was, say a legislation in New York gets passed that affects Redmond, do they report on something like that? In which case they answered, yes, if it does directly affect the city and the city's community, they do report on it, and they'll usually specialize and focus the report so that it specifically deals with how the Redmond resident is affected by the legislation or whatever the topic is. And let's see, my last question was if the community newspaper, since it is a community newspaper, if it supports any community-based groups, fund projects, races, fundraisers, things like that. They replied no, but it wasn't because they were snooty or anything like that. It's actually because they're a very small team, and they don't have the time to help fund or sponsor or host any kind of community-based event. What they do, however, is report on the community event, shed some light on it, and talk about, pretty much promote it so that the world, or at least Redmond, knows about it. So that's the contribution they have for it. All right, I think I've gone well over a minute. Thanks for listening, and see you in class.